Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, added flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, added flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here for our season finale of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. As these drivers, unfortunately for some, the season is coming to an end. For others, maybe a blessing in disguise because season number 2 is just around the corner in a few short months. But for all these drivers, they got one last chance, one more opportunity to try and put themselves up and into victory lane. As Anna Alessandro coming in, showing the love, says, "Let's go, Matthew Wood." Cheering on Matthew here this evening. As Rodney Stewart, what's good, Rodney? Hot Rod Todd in the chat says, last race, baby. Let's go, he says. Let's go, chat. Let's get it. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a pretty interesting race. You know, this is normally where we decide a champion in most series. This is normally where we decide and see who wins a championship, like they will in the real-life NASCAR in a couple weeks' time, just the beginning of November. But for these drivers, they already know who the champion is. They know that Matthew Wood has claimed that championship. He is going to be be the champion here on the season, our inaugural season. So for Mr. Matthew Wood, he's kind of had a couple races where he can just go up there and have some fun. We saw him win last week. He's trying to win his 16th race of the year here this evening. But these drivers, they're going to be doing everything they can to try to keep him back there at base, especially with a newcomer in the stream here as well, Joseph Smith. First time out there on the racetrack here this year for the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, and looks like Joseph going to qualify in the pole position, so great lap time out of the 13 machine, and he's going to be looking to try to keep Matthew Wood and the rest of these drivers back there at bay and hoping to win his first race here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. For a driver that's got a 46, almost 4,700 I rating, he's going to be a tough cookie. That's a driver that's a seasoned veteran. That's somebody that, doesn't tend to make a whole lot of mistakes, doesn't really get into people, has some good runs and some good speed out of his car. So it's going to be interesting to see if Matthew Applegate, if Ruggle Bruggy, some of these guys can jump up there and get out there with them in battle for potentially the race win this evening. As Mrs. Holler says, let's have a great race tonight, she says. A great race tonight would be absolutely amazing. Just seeing some good, hard green flag laps, seeing some good battling out there, having some fun here for our season finale is definitely something that we would like to see. We had a bit of a rough go in our first race of the afternoon. It was a bit of up and down one, definitely a lot of tough racing, a lot of tough wrecks, and a lot of tore up race cars in our first race of the night here. And unfortunately, that one went a little bit longer than what we were hoping for and planning for, but with all the yellows and all the yellow flag laps, it does seem to carry on and on and on and on, and hopefully we don't run into that same situation here this evening, as all these drivers will get loaded into the sim. Each and every one of them will be looking for the win. Now, I do know Matthew Wood starting in that third spot on the speedway. Matthew is going to take an EOL here. He's going to go to the end of the line. He will start at the back of the pack here for this feature event, as you see that Chesapeake number 13, right? Hopefully I'm saying that right. The Chesapeake 13 of Mr. Joseph Smith, who will start in the pole position to his outside in that 14 ride. The Findlay Farms machine, it's Grant Applegate starting there in second. Matthew Wood, who will go to the back of the field, was allotted to start in position number 16. Now, I did get a word that he's got a bit of a fancy helmet on here for this race. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a look in and see the helmet here on Matthew Wood. Now, we can move this around. That may pop up and may stay there. All right, here we go. All right, let's. Oh. Trying to get a look at it. Trying to see if we can figure out a way to. All right, let me see if we can get another cockpit, maybe gyro. Maybe that'll give us a good look here. There we go. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. The Danga Boys helmet here this evening is what I see. I don't know if you had another special one or anything else, but definitely a pretty slick looking helmet there on Matthew Wood as he gets ready to rumble, gets ready to duke it out here in this one as he goes to the back of the pack. So now moving up and starting in the third position on the racetrack, it will be the number 32, Nick Biddy, who will start there in third. It's Xavier Ruggle Bruggy will start to his outside. There we see the 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson, the 79 or 97 ride of Caleb Holloman, Benjamin Romano, Jason Bogart back there in 8th. Then we see Ryan Haller back in 9th. Evan Stewart rounds out our top 10 with Joe David, Jaden Porter, Aiden Lucas, Keegan Huey, and Matthew Wood bring up the rear of the field here in this one for our season finale, as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as Joseph Smith brings us to the the green flag here in our season finale from Phoenix Raceway. As the 13 gets a great launch, a great drive down into corner number 1. He's open to see if he can carry that speed and momentum down into corner number 2 as Applegate looks to try to get to his outside. Couldn't quite get there, but he'll stay right in line. Now takes a peek to the outside, hoping to find that speed and momentum down through 3 and 4, where he can try to jump up here and try to steal this race lead away from that 13 machine. As out in front, Joseph Smith will lead lap number 1 here this evening. Applegate right back to his outside, looking to try to take another run, looking to try to make the move to steal the race lead away from the 13 here this evening. As here they come down the back straightaway into 3, and it looks like all that outside momentum being built up for the 14 rider. Grant Applegate will pay dividends as he will lead lap number 2 here this evening. So Applegate now our race leader. Joseph Smith not going to give it up, though. He'll continue to battle down to his inside as we do see Xavier Rungelbrugge right there with him in position number 3. Back there in 4th is Mr. Nick Biddy with Wyatt Mickelson trying to hold on to the top 5. He's got the 70 or 97 ride. That is Mr. Caleb Holloman there to his outside. It's actually, Holloman is in the 77 machine here. He's supposed to be the 97, but it is showing as the 90, showing as the 77, not the 97 with that paint scheme. That's what's been throwing me off here with this paint scheme. So the 77 ride now of Caleb Holloman hanging on, trying to battle here with Wyatt Mickelson for that 5th position. Bogart right there behind him. And then we see Evan Stewart, Benjamin Romano door to door. That's the battle for the 8th position. And the driver who was supposed to start in 3rd went to the back of the pack, trying to race his way up in through the field. It is that number 16 of Matthew Wood, is Wood now up and into position number 10 here on the speedway with Aiden Lucas, Ryan Haller, Joe David right there behind him, trying to work their way up into the top 10 this evening. As Antoinette Rungelbrugge says, have a fun race tonight. Number 5, Xavier and everyone cheering them all on here in this one. As Ronnie says, like the helmet, Matthew. Yeah, definitely beautiful looking helmet right there. As Mrs. Haller says, season finale. Oh, she says, you're going to miss us. This is Holler. We're going to be here. We're going to be in the booth for a lot of other races, and hopefully we'll get Mr. Holler into a couple of the other series as well. We'll still be here. We'll still be live every night. Don't you worry about that. We'll be still up here in the booth putting on racing for other stuff. I mean, you just got to stop in, say hello, say hi, enjoy some of the other amazing series that we have, and maybe we'll get some of these other guys in there as well. As Jamal Stevens says, let's go. Mojo says, let's get this win number 31. So the 31, is that supposed to be the number for Joseph Smith? He's in the 13 ride. Is he in the 13 or is he in the other one? As let's get this win number 31, or is the 31? Who's Mojo? Who's Mojo? That's what I gotta figure out. Who's Mojo? As he says, good luck, Zay. Cheered on Zay as well, as Zay battling right there in position number 3 on the speedway. And it says, I know I'm going to miss everyone else. Oh, come on now. You're gonna hurt my feelings. You're gonna hurt my poor heart here. Okay, chat. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll still be live. You guys can still come in and say hello and chit-chat and catch up throughout some of the other races that we put on, as we do see Applegate continue to hold on to the race lead. It is Joseph Smith. Okay, so he's the number 31, but his car number is actually the 13. He is blinking quite a bit out there as well, so that's a tough break there for Joe. He's going to have to try to get that internet figured out to make sure that it's not blinking as much, as he does have Zay right there on his back bumper, as the 13 going to hold strong here in position number 2, with Nick Biddy back there in position number 4, continuing to look for more, as here comes Caleb Holloman, Jason Bogart, Mickelson back into 7th here, so he's been sliding backwards. Evan Stewart there in 8th, and we do see that the 37 or 34 ride of Aiden Lucas has worked his way around the 16 of Matthew Wood. So for the breast cancer awareness rides, the 37 and 34 going to work their way up towards the front of the field. Matthew Wood trying to hang on there in that 5th position, as Applegate out in front, though, continue to run away with it, as here comes Zay. Xavier's going to work his way up and into position number 2, as Joseph Smith will slide back into position number 3 on the speedway. As Rodney says, I'm always in and out of streams. I know you are. I know you are, brother, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that whenever you guys tune in and enjoy some of the other racing action here on these streams, man, and just showing the love. Even if you just come in, watch for a couple minutes, it really helps us out whenever day or race it is, man. Just that few minutes of view time really helps the streams out, really helps push it out to more and more people. It helps the channel continue to grow more and more. So as I watch the other races, but I don't know anyone in the other leagues. Well, Anna, we can help you with that. We can help you out with that. We can definitely get you more acquainted and see if you can get some more of these amazing, drivers in some of these other series and get you a little bit more accustomed and accompanied to, some of the guys that you may want to cheer for. It's Jesse Biddy. How are you, Jesse? Jesse says Cora Bella is rooting for Daddy. Says, let's go. Number 32, cheering on Nick Biddy out there on the speedways. Nick, he's looking to try to work his way up and into third here. He's on the back bumper of Joseph Smith, looking to see if he can find his way to get around that 13 machine out there on the speedways. Out in front, it's still Applegate. Grant looking really, really strong here this evening as the 57 continues to hold down the top spot, trying to pull away farther and farther here from Xavier Rungo Brunkies. He's got about a 1.5 second lead over that plush number 5 ride. So a pretty sizable gap, a pretty decent lead here for the number 14 as Applegate continues to try and pull farther and farther away. Nick Biddy continues to try to work and see if he can steal position number 3 away from Joseph Smith as Jason Bogart now has his hands full. Here comes that 34 of Aiden Lucas. Aiden really started to work his way up and through the traffic here. The 34 ride not too long ago and just past Matthew Wood for position number 9. And now we see that GOAT Racing Diecast ride working his way up inside the top 5 after completing the pass on Jason Bogart. Evan Stewart right there with him. Evan trying to race his way up towards the top 5 as Mickelson falls back another spot in the HendrickCars.com ride, falls back into that 8th position as Matthew Wood right there in position number 9. Benjamin Romano there in 10th as we do see Ryan Haller back there in the beautiful Star Wars paint scheme here this evening. The 23 there in 11th with Joe David, Keegan Huey, Jaden Porter back there in 14th as we did see Caleb Holloman already coming down pit road here. So Holloman comes down pit side, off sequence here, off schedule. Or that 77 machine. I'm not sure if he's gotten up into the outside fence. Nonetheless, he has entered pit road. Still looks to have quite a bit of right front damage, so definitely looks like he has gotten up and into the fence here and has given himself some pretty sizable damage early in this race. And unfortunately, that's going to hurt his chances. Already has lost a lap and almost 2 laps here, especially as he's coming back down pit road. And he's coming in with a whole head of steam right there. He's got to be careful because, yeah, there it is. Black flag on that 77 ride of Caleb Holloman, so this making matters even worse here for his Toyota Camry as he ends up with a black flag as well. So not only will he have to complete this pass down pit road, he's going to have to try to do it all over again as well. So he may have to come down pit side, hope to have that quick repair turned on so that way he can get this car fixed up back into one good piece. And unfortunately, he'll have to come right back down pit road again, or maybe they'll hold him down here. There's that quick repair so the car does get fixed up. And now it seems to be like, yeah, it's going to be a hold down pit side. So he's going to be held down there for quite a little while. And for the 77, he's going to lose a lot of laps here. Early on in this race is Xavier Rungo Brunky starting to hunt down our race leader. The gap has shrunk quite a bit, about 3/10 of a second off of the race lead here. So Zay starting to hunt down our race leader as Joseph Smith hangs on to that 3rd spot. Benny still back and forth, and now Aiden Lucas, who sits there in that 5th position. He's trying to close the gap and trying to hunt down our race leaders here this evening. Evan Stewart is up and into that 6th position as Jason Bogart falls back into 7th. He's got Mickelson right there behind him. Matthew Wood back there in the 9th position. And Benjamin Romano now rounding out our top 10. So for a driver like Matthew Wood, we really haven't seen any big laps out of this 16 ride. I'm not sure if maybe he burned up his tires a little early in this race or if he's just been backing it down here, trying to run a lot slower lap times, not wanting to push this race car, knowing that these could be very long green flag runs and knowing that tires are going to be very important here throughout this race. We've already seen almost a second of tire fall off here just in our first 21 laps of this race. So a second of tire fall off is a ton. That means these drivers are getting slower and slower and slower, lap by lap by lap. And the harder you are on your tires, the more you're burning them up, the more you're tearing them apart. And unfortunately, after a little while, they're going to start to give up a lot of time to the drivers that are saving their tires. If they're banking it down, if they're just rolling the throttle and not trying to gain a lot of ground quickly here and taking their time out there on the speedway, the race will start to come to them. As your tires start to get worse and worse and worse, you start to fall off a bit more. That's just going to open up the door for the drivers that are showing a lot more patience and kind of saving their equipment here for later in the run. And that's exactly what you may have seen at Joseph Smith, as he's kind of just let these guys go. They want to run faster laps. They want to burn their equipment up a lot sooner than the 13 ride. Then he's just let them kind of go by. He's watching them kind of start to struggle, and he'll look to try to rebound and gain that track time back here as their tires start to fall off. Nick Biddy there in fourth, Aiden Lucas in fifth, Evan Stewart back in sixth with Bogart, Wyatt Mickelson, and Matthew Wood. Now Matthew has been probably one of the slowest cars, but still fastest cars out there on the racetrack. He hasn't really ran anywhere close to the drivers in front of him for lap times. They've all ran 26.7s, 26.5s, 26.6s out there on the racetrack, where you look back at Matthew Wood, he's ran a 26.9 second fast time, is the quickest time that he has ran. Even still, he is running half a second slower than most of our race leaders. Majority of our top five here, he's about half a second slower. So for Matthew Wood, it seems like he is still trying to save, still trying to be patient, and just trying to bide his time here for later in this race, and maybe trying to save an extra set of tires for super late in this race, and maybe trying to play that strategy game. Give up stage points. We are going to see a stage break at the completion of lap number 40. If we do get that caution and we do get that stage break, they may not take tires. They may just try to risk it for the brisket, try to make it another 40-lap run to where we have our next stage break at lap number 80, throw a set of tires on there, and hope that they can drive their way up and towards the front of the field, hope that they have that extra set of tires for late in this race that it could really help them and benefit them later in this run. As Grant Applegate, though, out in front, Xavier Roggelbrugge there in second still. Joseph Smith in position number 3 here, but as of right now, for Roggelbrugge, he is about 1.7, almost 1.8 seconds back of Grant Applegate. So for a little bit there, it seemed like he was hunting him down. He was starting to reel in that 57, but now starting to fall back here in that plush number 5 ride. So unfortunately for Roggelbrugge, he is on the backslide. He's starting to see Joseph Smith get bigger and bigger into his rearview mirror. Smith would love to try to get back around him here, steal that second spot back away from Zay out there on the racetrack, as those drivers, they know this is going to be a long race. A lot of time, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to try to put yourself into a winning situation out there on the speedway. It may not be early on. You may just have to survive the first half of this race, try to keep those tires underneath of you and keep yourself in a good position for the final couple runs, because that is where the money is made, and being the final race of the season, the points are pretty much already settled for most of these drivers. Things are kind of already cemented in, as Matthew Wood being our champion. Looks like, for the most part, Evan Stewart should come home in second in the points. Wyatt Mickelson should come home in third in the point standings. I do believe Nick Biddy will jump up and into position number 4 as Zach Clater not out there on the racetrack, so Clater will fall back here. I do believe that Biddy will jump up into 4th. Then for Grant Applegate, came in about 13 points back of Ryan Haller. And if Haller's not getting any stage points and Applegate wins the stage, there is an opportunity for Applegate to maybe leapfrog Ryan Haller and steal the 5th position in the point standings here on the season. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that one, because Haller could definitely slide outside the top 5, and for Applegate could potentially work his way into the top 5 here for the point standings here this year. But we all know Matthew Wood already claiming this championship, came into this race 200 points ahead of Evan Stewart. 200-point gap between himself and our second place driver in the point standings, as that is absolutely insane. Just to say that out loud, just to think that, that is absolutely wild, being 200 points over a 9-race stretch. gaining 200 points and opening up that big of an advantage between yourself and the second place driver in points is absolutely wild. As out in front, Grant Applegate continue to just click off these laps, sitting pretty here, still 1.8 seconds between himself and Xavier Rungle-Brugge. Joseph Smith hanging on to third with Nick Biddy, Aiden Lucas, Evan Stewart, Jason Bogart there in 7th, Wyatt Mickelson back in 8th, with Benjamin Romano and Matthew Wood rounding out our top 10 here. Matthew just been saving, just taking it patiently, just hanging on deeper here in the field. Really hasn't pushed forward like we figured he would have, but it seems like he's taking more care of these tires, knowing that they're going to be even more important later in this race. So he is just minding his P's and Q's as of right now. As Applegate, though, continues to click off laps, that is lap 34 now off the board. So that means we get 6 laps left to go here in stage number 1 here this evening. So stage number 1 about to come to a close for this 57 ride. All he's got to do is just keep in his marks, really not give up too much time. Should be able to take it nice and easy and should be able to win this stage. But I know Zay and Joseph Smith are both going to be trying to hopefully catch up to that 57 ride, maybe in these closing 5 laps, jump up and steal the stage win away from Grant Applegate. Is now, here we go, we see the 13 ride looking down to the inside here is Zay. Zay's gonna try to hold on this second, but Joseph Smith looks like he wants to try to take it away from him, and down and out of corner number 2. Can't quite stay there to the inside of that 5 ride, and it looks like Zay will hang on to that second spot as of right now. But Joseph Smith finding a ton of speed, especially down and out of corner number 4 right here, and gets a great run down through this dog leg. And man, he's looking pretty strong. We'll have to wait and see what this Chesapeake machine can do later in this race when tires are maybe balanced out a little bit more. If there's no time left to wait, you gotta push the throttle down, you gotta race as hard as possible. Be interesting to see what Joseph Smith's gonna be able to do, if he can try to beat Grant Applegate and Zay here this evening. See what Matthew Wood can do. He's been kind of hanging out a little deeper in the field here, not really worried about stages or stage points or anything else, so he's just been kind of hanging out back there in that 10th position for most of this run, being half a second or better slower than our race leaders, just trying to save as much tire as possible if they're on the speedway. But for Applegate, nice and easy, down and through corner 3 and out of 4, back down across the line. It'll be 2 laps left to go here in stage number 1. And it's our season finale, the first quarter of it about to be done here this evening. And for Applegate, he's been out in front for pretty much all of it, as we do see Joseph Smith finally able to get around the 5 ride of Xavier Rungle-Brugge. Xavier, he says, I'm not done battling yet. He's going to take a peek down to the inside again on that 13 ride. They're going to battle down into corner number 3, nice and easy out of 4. It will be the 13 that'll hang on to position number 2. But they're already 2.3 seconds back of Grant Applegate. As Applegate, nice and easy, down through 1 and out of corner number 2. He'll hit his marks. He'll lead us down the back straightaway here for the final time in our first stage of the day, as the Finley Farms 14 ride of Grant Applegate down and out of corner number 4 will win stage number 1 here this evening. So Applegate wins that first stage, with Joseph Smith coming home in second, Xavier Rungle-Brugge, Nick Biddy, Aiden Lucas, Evan Stewart, Jason Bogart, Wyatt Mickelson, Benjamin Romano, and our champion Matthew Wood going to round out our top 10 here in the first stage of the day. So all these drivers top 10 earning some stage points. That'll get them prepped and ready here for the second stage of racing action. But now it's going to be the big question mark on what were some of these drivers doing? Were they saving tire? Were other drivers being a little tougher on tire? What was the call here? Who was doing the best job trying to give themselves the best opportunity to potentially try and win this race? We do see Ryan Haller does have the damage flag on the 23 ride, so I'm not sure if Ryan Haller has gotten into something, if he's hit a wall or what, but it does look like he's got some damage on that 23 ride, so he may have to come down pit road, get that repaired, and get the car back out onto the racetrack. Because here we go, everyone's going to come down pit side. No one is going to play any strategies and stay out. Everyone needs that fuel, but this is where the strategy can get started. Down pit road, you want to get enough fuel into your run that you can make it the rest of this second stage, but at the same point in time, a little quicker pit stop could get you a bunch of track position and give you a good spot to start here in stage number 2. As Applegate down into his pit stall, there's our pole sitter, the 13 at Joseph Smith into his box. Matthew Wood pulls into his. You do see these guys getting jacked up. Even Matthew Wood looks like he's throwing a set of tires onto that 16 ride. Does he go just 2 right side tires, or is he getting 4? It does look like 4 tires going on to the 16 ride, but it is Jason Bogart who's out of the pit lane first here. So Bogart with a quick pit stop. You'll have the race lead. Joseph Smith back in second, Xavier Rugglebruggy there in third, Nick Fitty, Evan Stewart, Matthew Wood, our top 6. Wyatt Mickelson, go David, Jaden Porter, Keegan Huey, the top 10 as Grant Applegate still down pit road here. Applegate was down pit side for quite a little while right there, and for the Finley Farms number 14, he gets rolling here. He's back in the 14th position. So for Applegate, I'm not sure what this call was. I'm not sure what the strategy was there for him, but nonetheless, he'll have to try to battle back. He'll have to try to gain a lot of track position and put himself back into a winning spot potentially out there on the speedways. Everybody came down pit road. Everyone made a pit stop, and now we get ready to see how this gets played out. Who's going to make some moves? Who's going to put themselves into potentially the winning situation here this evening? Who's going to get it done and maybe win stage number 2 here in this race? As Jason Bogart would love to try to finish this season off strong, trying to win a stage, trying to keep up with all these guys, give themselves that boost of confidence going into the next season for the Flex Seal 1776 Motorsports ride, as the pace car will make that hard left-hand turn back down pit road. And now here we go, getting ready to see the green flag fly here once again for the final time this season. Is Zach Perry in the chat? What's good? Perry says, let's go 1776. Jason on 2 tires for the win. Let's go, baby. I figured we'd see at least one, maybe a couple of drivers pull that strategy, going 2 tires there instead of 4. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out for that 17 ride. As here we go, down through the Geico restart zone. The control car gets a pretty decent launch, hoping to carry all that speed and momentum down and through this dog leg. As here comes Joseph Smith, Xavier Rugglebruggy looking down to his inside as the 13 ride is able to stay with them. But man, it's a tight battle here at the front of the field. Is down and out at corner number 2. See those 4 tires holding on strong here down low. The 2 tires doing a pretty good job up on the outside lane. But for the 17 of Jason Bogart, will it be enough to hold off the 31 down and across the line? Too close to the goal right there, but it may have been Joseph Smith taking that race lead away from Jason Bogart. Now we do see him slide up in front of him, clears that 17. Bogart will look to try to get back in line as though the 13 loose, and look out, now we see another driver nose into the inside fence right here. That is the 74 ride of Jaden Porter. Porter, hard contact into the inside wall. No caution flag right there. Let's see if we can play this back. Take a look, see if he just gets loose out of corner number 2, or if he gets a little help right here, if he gets a little nudge. Nope, just looks like he loses the rear end, washes down, makes hard contact there with that inside wall. Pretty sizable damage there for him. And now we do see Matthew Wood. Oh, no, okay, it looked like for some reason it's showing me Matthew Wood was potentially going down pit road, but he is not. So here we go, still battling though at the front of the field. Jason Bogart still trying to battle for this race lead. This is a very good fight here. Between 2 tires and 4 tires here, Bogart's putting up a big fight right now for this race lead. And I think for a lot of these drivers, if they're seeing this, if they're watching the 17 ride and how good that car is running, how good it is driving here on the 2-tire strategy, how much will that change their minds later in this race? We get a late race caution flag instead of coming down pit road, taking too much time, putting 4 tires on. You want to try that 2-tire strat as well, maybe gain a bunch of track position and give yourself the opportunity to try to do exactly what the 17 ride has been doing for the last few laps, and that's trying to hold these guys off, but also trying to keep himself here at the front of the field as he's still right behind the 13 of Joseph Smith. But does look like Smith and Xavier Rugglebruggy will both get by that 17 ride. So now Jason Bogart sits back in third. He's going to look to continue to battle with the plush ride as here comes Matthew Wood. Wood right there in the mix of it, as here he comes, as now here comes Nick Biddy getting back to his inside. So Wood pushes up the track ever so slightly, opens up the door for Nick Biddy, and now we see Biddy just go right around him right there. Looked like the 16 just limping out of corner number 2 right there, and did not get a great drive down the back straightaway, and unfortunately cost him a spot here as Matthew falls back into the 5th position. Nick Biddy back out in front of him, but it's all Joseph Smith, our pulse here, our early race leader, who's able to take the race lead back away, has himself out in front, has the young gun Xavier Runkelbrungy back there behind him trying to hunt him down as Bogart rolls there still in that 3rd position. The tires paying dividends here this evening as you see Evan Stewart and Aiden Lucas back there in 6 and 7. Wyatt Mickelson battling right there with them, and our Stage 1 winner, Grant Applegate, who had to restart back in the 14th position for that Finley Farms number 14 ride. Here he is, working his way back inside the top 10 now, sits in that 9th position, looking to try to gain another spot here as he shoots down to the inside of the 51 of Wyatt Mickelson. And they move Mickelson back to 9th. That moves Grant Applegate up into position number 8 on the speedway. Joe David and the 9 ride of Benjamin Romano, they're duking out door to door. This is a battle for the 10th position. We do see Ryan Haller back in 13th, Keegan Huey there in 12th, and then we see Aiden Porter, unfortunately, after getting loose there at a corner number 2, getting that heavy left front damage down on the inside wall there, the pit wall, and unfortunately he's got some pretty sizable damage here on that 74. He may have to take it down pit road and try to get that fixed. And for Caleb Holloman, back out there on the racetrack, and for Caleb, he is unfortunately right now still, I believe, 2 laps down, 3 laps down, something like that here for the 90 or for the 77 ride. So that's a tough spot to be out there on the speedway for him early on in this race. As out in front, Joseph Smith continues to lead the way here. Smith out in front, Runkelbrugge there in second as they continue to battle here at the front of the field. We saw these two pretty much nose to tail and running pretty identical at times for most of that first stage. So we'll have to wait and see if these two are just going to work well together, keep on hitting their marks, keep on just rolling out here at the front of the field, maybe not battling too hard or until later in the stage, because they know Matthew Wood's back there behind them, and you start battling door to door, you start burning up your stuff, and may invite this 16 ride to come join you there at the front of the field as he's worked his way back around Nick Biddy, now trying to go after Jason Bogart for position number 3 out there on the speedway. Aiden Lucas there in 6th. He's already got Applegate right there on his back bumper. Applegate trying to rebound after a slow pit stop down on pit road. And for the 14 ride, he's gained quite a few positions here. Started back in 14th on that restart. Now up and into 7th. So he's cut through half the field and looking to try to cut back through the rest of the field here as he's trying to pick up stage win number 2 here this evening as he's right on the back bumper of that 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. Aiden really not wanting to give up that spot, but for Applegate, he really wants to try to take it away because he wants to get up inside the top 5 and try to hunt down our race leaders here in this one. As Joseph Smith still out in front, that Chesapeake machine just feeling fine out there on the speedway, continue to hit his marks, continue to hit his numbers, holding Xavier Runkelbrugge back there at bay, but you do see Matthew Wood able to clear that 17 of Jason Bogart. So Matthew now up and into 3rd here. We'll have to wait and see if he's got anything up his sleeve here for our race leaders. Bogart back there in 4th. Nick Biddy sits in 5th. Then we see Aiden Lucas back in 6th. Grant Applegate there in 7th. Evan Stewart back in 8th with Wyatt Mickelson and Joe David rounding out the top 10 here on the speedway, but they're battling hard back here for that 10th position. See Benjamin Romano, the 38 of Keegan Huey, the 77 ride. We've got his Caleb Holman right there, as you do see Ryan Haller back in 13th, and Jaden Porter rounding out our top 14 here on the speedway is out in front. It's all Joseph Smith as the laps continue to click down as he heads down through corner number 1 and out of 2 here. He's going to keep his foot in the throttle, try to keep that 5 right back there at bay, not wanting to open up the door and give him a shot inside or a shot to try to steal this lead away from the 31 is down across the line. He'll complete lap number 60 here this evening. So 60 laps down, only 20 laps left to go here in stage number 2 here this evening. 20 laps left to go here in this stage, and for all these drivers, as much as you want stage points, still as much as you want the confidence out there on the racetrack, points are for the most part mainly settled here for a lot of these drivers, and with the points pretty much settled for most of them, there's really no harm, no risk, no reward for making big bold moves, whether it be pitch strategy or tire strategy or just trying to push yourself to try to win one of these stages. The siege points at this point aren't going to make a huge difference on where you finish here this season. But for Matthew Wood, I know there's one goal in mind for that 16 ride, and that is win, win, win. I talked to him a couple weeks ago when he won his 14th race of the season, and how he probably wants to try and win 16 races on the year, already crowned as the champion, to win the championship and to be a race winner 16 times here over the season. Matthew is definitely hoping to get that done. He was able to win last week, got his 15th win of the season, and here tonight looking for win number 16 in that 16 ride. And here he comes as he is working to the back bumper here of Xavier Ruggle-Brugge, and if Ruggle-Brugge isn't careful, you may see Matthew Wood jump up and around him here in a quick hurry, as Matthew cutting that dog leg, trying to find that speed, all that momentum, and hoping to try to continue to hunt down this 5 and 13 ride here at the front of the field, as they started to separate themselves from Matthew Wood all the way back to our 4th place driver, Nick Biddy. Biddy about 1.3 seconds off the back bumper of Matthew Wood, as Bogart right there behind him, and then we see Aiden Lucas back in 6th, Applegate there in 7th, Evan Stewart, Wyatt Mickelson, Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Joe David there in 11th, with Benjamin Romano back in 12th, and then we see Ryan Haller and Jaden Porter rounding out our 14-car field. Caleb Holloman back there in that 15th position. These drivers continue to keep on battling. Xana says, PeaceMaker, you need a nap. Let my ass off. I do need a nap, man. I do need a nap. Okay, it's past my bedtime. I don't know. I don't think I need a nap. I need an energy drink. That is for certain. I didn't get a chance to run to the store to get any today, and I am regretting that decision, because I definitely need some energy drinks, and I definitely I don't feel like I need to sleep, but I feel like that first race of ours earlier today kind of wiped me out there a little bit, Chat. Kind of wiped me out a little bit, man. A Pocono race. It was 100 laps. We did 50 laps under yellow. That was a rough one. We did a 100-lap race at Pocono Raceway. We did half of the race under the yellow flag conditions. What probably should have been a 2-hour-long broadcast turned into about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And most of that 45 minutes was just sitting behind the pace car, watching them cycle out there under the yellow flag. So that was a rough one, man. That was a rough one. It was tough to do, and obviously by the time it was done, it gave me less of a break in between the two broadcasts. And by the time that race was done, I didn't really have much time to make dinner or run to the store and grab energy drinks before this broadcast. So it kind of messed up my whole rhythm of how I do things in between these two races on Sundays, and it kind of threw me for a loop right there. But nonetheless, we digress, and we continue to keep on battling just like these drivers out on the racetrack, as Smith continues to hold on to the top spot. But you do see Matthew Wood, he jumps up and into that second position as Xavier Ruggle-Brugge rolls there in position number 3. Anna says, what time is it in Canada? Well, Canada is the same time zones as what the U.S. are. I'm East Coast time, so I'm East Coast. For me right now, it's 8:42 p.m. because I'm on the East Coast. So it's not like it's super late. It's only 8 o'clock. Well, almost 9 o'clock now, but it's getting up there. It's getting up there. That's for certain. Joseph Smith, though, continues to lead the way. Matthew Wood right there in second. Matthew trying to keep the pressure to his back bumper. You see a little wiggle right there into that 16 ride as he's trying to push the subject, trying to find that extra speed, and that may open up the door right there for Xavier Ruggle-Brugge to try to get back to that number 5 machine. As it's 8:42 in South Carolina. Yeah, see, some South Carolina's East Coast. That's the same time zone. Same time zone as I am, man. Same time zone right there. Same time zone as Xavier back there in third, trying to stay in that battle. Nick Biddy right in fourth with Aiden Lucas back in fifth. He's got Evan Stewart right there behind him. Jason Bogart, Grant Applegate back there at eighth with Wyatt Mickelson. Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10. Benjamin Romano and Ryan Haller are top 12 with Jaden Porter back there in 13th. And then Joe David's down pit road here. So Joe David off sequence here, about 10 laps shy of end of the stage, heads down pit road. Maybe damage done to that sixth ride. He's going to hit his pit stall. The crew, I think, is going to work. I don't know if they're doing much damage repair or not, but there it is. So it does look like some of that damage is getting repaired for the sixth ride, but as he sits down on pit road, unfortunately for the sixth ride, he's now already a lap down, may go a few laps down here as he still sits down on pit road. For Matthew Wood, though, he rolls in position number 2. The car in front of him, the 13 line of Joseph Smith, blinking a little bit, and that's going to be tough for the 16 ride, not quite knowing where that 13 ride is, but he does know that he's still in front of him and that he's got to try to find a way around him here as Smith continues to hold down to the top spot. But this is the battle that we've been looking for here in this one, is Joseph Smith versus Matthew Wood out there on the racetrack. A battle between the two highest I-rating drivers out there on the speedway. As Xavier Rungelbrugge rolls right there in position number 3. Zay rolls there in that third spot. Biddy and Lucas round out our top 5 here, but we only got about 6 laps left to go here in this stage. And for this number 13 ride of Joseph Smith continues to start to pull farther and farther away from that 16 ride. We've seen Matthew here getting a little bit loose. He may have had to work and use up a little bit more of his tires here, battling his way up and into that second position here in this run. So we'll have to wait and see what he can get done here in the second half of this feature event. As Smith starting to just kind of hold pace here, keep that gap, manage that gap between himself and Matthew Wood. Zane's kind of right there in that same situation. Same with Nick Biddy. They're all quite far enough away that they're really not going to gain anything or give anything away. Aiden Lucas and Evan Stewart there. A pair of those AG Designs rides roll back in position number 5 and 6 on the racetrack. Evan looking to try to take the 5th position away from Aiden Lucas, and some tight racing back here between these two fellas as they are duking it out here for position number 5 on the speedway. Applegate's right there behind him. Our stage 1 winner sits back there in 7th with Wyatt Mickelson, Jason Bogart, and Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10 here on the speedway. But man, this is a great battle brewing between Aiden Lucas and Evan Stewart. These two looking to have some good fun here in our season finale of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. As out in front, Joseph Smith continues to hold down to the top spot, continues to lead the way as Aiden Lucas continues to hold on to that 5th position, but again, pushes up the racetrack right there, opens up the door for that 37 ride to try to find another good groove, to try to find another way around him. Unfortunately, could not get anything done. Down and out of core number 2, they'll stay nose to tail, down through 3 and out of 4 here for that 5th position. But for Joseph Smith, out in front, continues to lead the way with only 2 laps left to go here in this stage. Matthew Wood right there in 2nd. Fortunately for Matthew, I think he's too far back. Even if he can find half a second here late in this run, in the final lap, I still think he's going to be a few car lengths shy of that 13 ride. So for Joseph Smith, he's got 1 lap left to go here in stage number 2 to try and win our 2nd stage of the day. So our 2nd stage of the day up for grabs here on our final lap of this run is Joseph Smith leads us down through corner 1 and out of 2. Down the back straightaway here at Phoenix Raceway. And it's Joseph Smith who will lead us back down into 3. Nice and easy out of 4. No mistakes. And for the 13 of Joseph Smith, he will win our 2nd stage of the day. Our 2nd stage going to go to that 13 ride of Joseph Smith as Matthew Wood will come home in 2nd. Xavier Rungelbrugge back in 3rd. Nick Biddy in position number 4 with Grant Applegate rounding out our top 5. Evan Stewart there in 6th with Aiden Lucas back in 7th. Wyatt Mickelson, Jason Bogart, and Keegan Huey going to round out the top 10 here in this stage. So interesting to see that we saw Applegate actually end up working his way around Evan Stewart and Aiden Lucas on that final lap. He was able to get both of those drivers and put himself up and into position number 5 here at the end of the stage. So big run right there for Grant Applegate, and that moves him up into that 5th position here in the stage, looking to try to navigate his way back to the front of the field. As here we go. Headed back down pit side for our second wave of pit stops here this evening, as Eric the Best Rice says, "You got this, Smith." Cheered on Joseph Smith here this evening. Says, "Shout out to my nephew Joe Smith." Your nephew Joe Smith. Well, hey, your nephew out there doing a pretty dang good job out there in the front of the field right now, holding these guys off. But there's still a lot of racing left to go. Still a lot of opportunities to, hang on or fall back or to push forward for any one of these drivers. Still lots of opportunities here to make mistakes or to run a perfect race and gain that time back out there on the speedway. As Smith and everyone hits their pit stalls, they're all getting tires. Looks like everyone, for the most part, going with 4 tires here, even Jason Bogart. So it looks like everyone making those 4-tire pit stops, and it's going to be a drag race off pit road, and it looks like Joseph Smith is going to win that race, so Joe is going to stay out in front. He will get ready for this restart with Matthew Wood back there in second. Xavier Uncle Brunky does come out in third, with Applegate now up and into position number 4 here. Nick Biddy there in 5th with Evan Stewart, Aiden Lucas, Wyatt Mickelson there in 8th, Keegan Huey, Jason Bogart, our top 10. Ryan Haller back there in 11th with Benjamin Romano rounding out our top 12. Jaden Porter still down pit side trying to get this car repaired, trying to get back out there on the racetrack. He's got to hope he gets back out before our race leader, so that way he does not lose a lap, and it looks like it'll be a tight battle, but it does look like he will beat them off of pit road right there. So that's a great break for the 74. Still has some pretty sizable damage though on that left front, so gonna be a tough night for Jaden Porter. And then for the 77 to Caleb Holloman, he'll work his way down to his pit stall. I do believe still a couple laps down here for that 97 ride. Still a very, very tough situation for him to be in. Obviously a bunch of laps down for Joe David as well. Joe David, we saw him come down pit road there. Unfortunately, he was down pit side for quite a while. Looks like he's about I don't know, 9 laps down, something like that. 9 laps down here behind our race leaders. Unfortunately, hopefully we don't see that many yellow flags and that many free passes available for that 6th ride to try to gain all those laps back. As much as I would love to see Joe back on the lead lap and continue to battle here this evening, I don't see that many yellow flags here late in this race. As here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing as we're just halfway in, halfway to go here in tonight's feature event. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's jump into our PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening as these drivers crank it up. You guys cheer them on here for the final time in the season. Caution flag will fly here. Some cautions breeding cautions. Yellow flag will be displayed, so the yellow flag coming back out during our PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up. We'll take a look back and see what happens, see what brings this yellow flag out. I do believe it was the 34 ride of Mr. Aiden Lucas who's going to run into some issues here. Aiden following right behind that 5 ride of Xavier Rongo Brung. He looks like Nick Biddy down to his inside. Looks like Biddy's going to get into him right there. Into that left rear quarter panel, and the car just slides around. He's got to lock it down to keep himself from either going all the way around or hitting the outside fence right there. And for the Go Racing Diecast 34, Ryan doing a fantastic job hanging on to that thing, keeping it pointing in the right direction as an easy thing to do. Drafting around the corners here. Watch as, here we go, right down into corner number 3. There's the contact. P4 tries to save it, tries to keep it going, finally realizes that he may go around in front of a lot of oncoming traffic. Luckily enough, he's able to get that thing stopped, checked up, everyone's able to avoid him, everyone's able to keep it rolling, and we will keep everyone out there on the racetrack. No big damage, no major tie-ups, or a lot of cars tore down out there on the racetrack, so that's a great break for all these drivers that they don't have to worry about heading down pit road and trying to get major repairs done here late in this run as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Great news there for the 77 ride, as Caleb Holman will get another lap back here. That will inch him a little closer to getting back on the lead lap. I do believe he is still 1 lap down after getting the wave right there, but that is a good step in the right direction of trying to get himself back into the action here this evening. As Anna says, come on, Matthew, cheering on Mr. Wood here this evening. Hoping to see that 16 ride jump up here and duke it out with Joseph Smith. And you see Applegate now back up into 3rd. Zane's right there in 4th. Some very heavy hitters here at the front of the field, ready to duke it out, ready to go to battle here tonight for our our season finale here this evening. Going to be a very, very fun one. I think things are going to get very interesting here in a quick hurry for a lot of these drivers. It's going to get pretty intense. I think the battles here are about to heat up more and more and more now, knowing that we're over halfway through this race. We're working on the second half. There's no more stage breaks. There's no more major opportunities to try and work yourself, farther forward. You got to just try to get everything you can. You may have one more set of green flag pit stops, and that's probably about it on the horizon. So with that one extra set of pit stops here and potential green flag pit stops, all these drivers know that they just got to run what they got. They got to give everything that they have left here if they want to try to find victory lane in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League season finale. So here we go. Pace car going to make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side. We'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing and back into our PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up. Let's jump on board here. We have to plan the master man, Evan Stewart, here for this restart as we go back to our PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening. flag right there. There is the yellow flag as it is upon us once again. And it's the 34 of Aiden Lucas. Aiden here trying to cut down the racetrack, trying to use the dog leg. Let's take a look here at the 34 line. So he's trying to get a big run off of corner number 4. And you see the car actually almost starting to go around right there. He's trying to save it, but you see how close he gets to the outside fence, starts to kick that rear end out, and as he does, the car's just going to shoot down the racetrack. He's still trying to save it, trying to correct it, trying to keep it pointing the right direction. All of a sudden, he sees himself kind of pointing towards that O'Reilly's pit wall, and he just cranks the wheel the other way. Unfortunately, the car goes around the opposite direction. He's got it locked down. He's got it saved, trying to keep himself out of trouble, and all of a sudden, Jason Bogart's just going to come in and absolutely clean him out. Bogart with a big hit into that 34 line, and then we're going to watch a few more drivers drive in here. Here comes Jaden Porter and the 77 rider Caleb Holloman. They both run into the 17, causing more carnage for both of them. Man, there's a couple big hits right here, man. A couple big lockups and a couple big hits by a couple of these drivers. Let's take a look on board here with Jason Bogart as Bogart big hits right there for him as well, and for that steel line, definitely a front line here, hard to get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to try to go back to battle, ready to duke it out again here in this one. As man, that's a pretty crazy crank it up right there. These guys gave us the sights and sounds around Phoenix Raceway here, man. That was a lot of fun. There was some great racing, some great action out there, and these guys put together some pretty good laps to give us a good little crank it up. A couple caution flags in there to really break it up and give us some fun here at the beginning of this final stage of our final race of the season. It sucks to see them go, but man, it is going to be fun to see what these guys have in store for us in the next season. Obviously, going to try to grow, put on different events here throughout the winter time, and then trying to, just bring in more and more drivers, trying to find more cats that want to stick around, race, battle, be respectful, have some fun out there week after week after week, and make the series that much bigger and that much better here come next season. As here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. So for Joseph Smith, he stayed out, same with Benjamin Romano and Keegan Huey. They did not come down pit road, so Joe Smith still as our race leader here on this restart. So for the 13 ride, he will look for a big restart down in through corner number 3 and 4, and that's exactly what he gets. Clears the 9 ride quickly as Benjamin Romano really got nothing to hang on to. As quickly you see Grant Applegate, you see Xavier Rugglebruggy, Matthew Wood. They're all trying to navigate their way here to the front of the field in a quick hurry. Now if they use up an extra set of tires or anything else, man, this may be the time to do it. But now there's contact. Look out. Around goes Romano, and baby, caution flag will be back out. So some newer tires versus older tires, and here is that 9 ride just kind of getting a little bump right here. She gets a little bump right. He started to already go around, and I don't know if there's really much contact there between him and the 14. Let's see if we can play this back. It does look like they make contact. Could just be a little bit of net code, but does look like maybe a little bit of contact here as you see the 9 Ryan trying to get a good launch. Starts to get a little sideways right there. And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was much contact there between him and the 14. Maybe a little net code. Nonetheless, he bounces up into the 38 right of Keegan Huey, then bounces off of the left rear there of the 5 right of Zay. Man, look at Zay trying to hang on to that thing, and as unfortunately the 9 ride does go around here. Zay gets ran into here, ends up getting some more damage on that 5 ride as Evan Stewart gets into him, and then we see Matthew Wood. He gets drove into this as well, as it's Aiden Lucas who just keeps on driving in there, and this is from quite a ways away, but he's gonna drive in here as well and just never gets onto the binders and keeps shoving these guys farther in there, causing some pretty good damage and destruction down low. And unfortunately, a few tore-up race cars as we'll have to get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble here once again. It's more pitch strategy. Looks like Nick Biddy will now be our race leader. Bogart will be in second, and Benjamin Romano is going to stay out again here and get ready to restart here in position number 3. Sonia says, let's go. Xavier cheered on Zay here this evening. As Anna says, when is next season? I have to put it on my calendar. That's a good question, Anna. I'm assuming it's going to be probably a couple weeks prior to the actual real-life NASCAR series getting underway. So I'm going to say probably somewhere towards the first or second weekend of February. Somewhere in there is when these guys will probably be back in action, as I do believe they're trying to follow, for the most part, somewhat of the NASCAR schedule and what they're doing, maybe just swapping out some racetracks here and there. But I think for the most part, that's what their game plan is here for next year. As Nick Biddy will get ready for the restart. Biddy out in front has this race lead. Jason Bogart there to his outside. Benjamin Romano will start in position number 3 with Ryan Applegate back there in 4th. Then we do see Zay, who is now in position number, no, it's Ryan Haller there in 5th. Then we see the 51 of Wyatt Mickelson back there in 6th. Zay's there in 7th with, I believe that is the 13 ride to his outside. Keegan Huey's right there. Matthew Woods there as well, rounding out our top 10. Then we do see Evan Stewart back here. He's trying to get rolling back out onto the racetrack. Same with the 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. Looks like Aiden is actually going to lose a lap here during those pit cycles. And for Caleb Holloman, still down pit side. Looks like Jaden Porter's taking his car down and off the racetrack. Joe David still battling out there, but still, unfortunately, multiple laps down here in this one. As Nick Biddy out in front, we'll see that green flag fly, and Biddy gets a big launch right there, trying to keep all these drivers back there at bay, hoping that maybe some of the mayhem, some of the carnage, or some of the tight racing keeps some of these other drivers back there at bay behind him and allows him to build a bit of a lead. But quickly, you see Grant Applegate navigating his way through that traffic right up into second here, and he's looking to hunt down that 32 of Nick Biddy for the race lead, as the 17 of Bogart hangs on to position number 3. Keegan Huey there in 4th. Now Zay looking down to his inside. Here comes Matthew Wood down the inside here. Heel squeeze just in front of Joseph Smith and the number 23 of Ryan Haller. Is Haller trying to battle hard here to the outside of that 13 ride as they hunt their way towards the front once again. Obviously, a bunch of these yellow flags in different pit stops have kind of busted this thing open. A lot of different drivers on different strategies here, different tires and everything else. So different strokes for different folks. You'll have to wait and see who can get the best of one another and find their way up in towards victory lane. As Nick Biddy continues to hold down the top spot, it's Applegate right there behind him. Bogart rolls in position number 3 with Zay now up and in to position number 4. Keegan Huey holds on to 5th as Matthew Wood and Joseph Smith roll there in 6th and 7th. Wyatt Mickelson there in 8th. Ryan Haller back in 9th as Evan Stewart rounds out our top 10. Benjamin Romano back there in 11th. He unfortunately has yet to come down pit road since lap number 82, so everybody here in front of him has about 20 laps or better tires and fuel than this 9 ride. So for Benjamin Romano, he's kind of in a very tough position right here. It could work into his favor if he catches another caution flag, could potentially have some of the best tires out there on the racetrack, but if he does not get a yellow flag here and has to make a green flag pit stop, that could definitely hurt his chances of being able to battle here in this feature event. As you do see the 34 right, Aiden Lucas, he is currently one car, the first car and only car, 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. Joe David multiple laps down, back in 13th. Caleb Holloman down pit side. Jaden Porter has loaded his car back up onto the hauler down behind pit wall, and Brandon Annington never jumped out there to start this race. But for the 32 and Nick Biddy continue to hold on to the race lead. You do see Zay back up and into 3rd here as he's gotten around Jason Bogart. He's looking to try to hunt his way towards the front as Nick Biddy and Applegate battling here door to door for the race lead. Biddy does not want to give it up. Applegate, though, wants to take it away from him, and there we go, down across the line. Looks like Applegate will jump back out in front. So for our first stage winner here this evening, Grant Applegate looking pretty strong, but Biddy looking to battle back. And as they start battling here for that top spot, it's bringing the 5 ride of Xavier Rungelbrugge right to their back bumper. Zay reeling them in, starting to hunt them down and wanting to jump into this hunt to the front himself here this evening as he looks to close that gap and reel in Nick Biddy. And of Grant Applegate. Joseph Smith looking to get around the 17 right of Jason Bogart. This is a battle for position number 4 as Bogart back there in 5th. Matthew Wood there in 6th here. Matthew just has not been able to find his way around that 17 and gave a spot back to the 13 of Joseph Smith as Keegan Huey in that beautiful CHR ride rolls there in position number 7. Wyatt Mickelson back in 8th as we do see Evan Stewart and Haller rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. As Mrs. Haller says, oh, Ryan, move back up. She says, move back up. Mickelson and Haller go and keep it going. Says keep it going to both the boys out there on the speedways. Here we go. They still battle here at the front of the field. Nick Biddy not done yet with Grant Applegate looking to take the race lead back away, and he's going to get it. So the Sisk Speed Shop Nick Biddy Designs ride back out in front, waiting here in our season finale of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Applegate right there with Zane in this fight as well. Zane's looking to try to jump up here and put on a show as we do see Joseph Smith trying to hunt them all down now. Smith going to look to try to reel them in as Matthew Wood trying to navigate his way around Joseph Bogart Jason Bogart, and it looks like Jason is going to fall back into that 6th position here. You'll now have Keegan Huey and Mickelson right there on his back bumper as Matthew Wood able to clear Bogart there for that 5th position, and now here we go. It's all like Donkey Kong, but keeping that clean air, keeping himself out in front is still Nick Biddy, who continues to lead the way. Biddy still out in front, continuing to lead this race and hoping to try to keep these guys back there at bay for the rest of this one. As I do believe 117 laps left to go. We should be within, 40 laps of racing action left to go here in this feature event, so less than 40 laps here on the season for the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Man, it is coming to a close in a quick hurry here this evening. Is down across the line. It will be 38 laps left here on the year for the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, as in front Nick Biddy looking for a big win, a big momentum builder for this 32 ride heading in the next season for Nick Biddy, Applegate, Xavier, Rongo, Broggy, all these guys wanting to try to find their way into the top spot, knowing that this could be a big confidence booster, a big momentum swinger here for their seasons in other series, and also trying to build on that momentum going in to next season of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Zay has been one of the hottest drivers out there on the racetrack. He's been running very strong. Has given Matthew Wood a good run for his money in a lot of these races in here tonight. Matthew Wood has looked a little bit more dormant. He's already won the championship. He's won 15 races here on the season, but for right now it's Nick Biddy, Applegate, Xavier, Rongo, Bruggy, and Joseph Smith who are keeping this 16 ride out of victory lane and out of an opportunity to try to win his 16th race on the season here. So these guys doing a fantastic job in front of him. For Nick Biddy, he's just trying to do everything he can to keep Applegate, Zay, and Smith, and all these guys back there behind him here, as he would love to try to capture victory here this evening. With everyone coming down pit road, they're on lap 100, some down pit road on lap 104. What really brings into the question on if these guys can make it to the checkered flag without having to come back down pit road. We've really only seen them run a 40-lap run between, the start of this race and the end of stage number 1, and about the same there in stage number 2, that 40 laps or so, and then they come down pit road. But how far can they actually go here on a tank of fuel? Can they run a 50, 60 lap run here, or is it somewhere around that 40 lap area that they start to run out of fuel and that they may have to make an additional pit stop here on the evening? We're going to find out, because I don't see a break in the action here, and none of these drivers are really slowing down or giving an inch out there. We did see Joe David actually end up running into some more issues here in this number 6 ride. Tough break for Joe David, and let's take a look back, see what happens here. He's gotten up into the outside fence again, and it looks like he's just going to pull it down. Looked like trying to get it down pit road, couldn't quite get there. Looks like he's going to stop there on the racetrack and tow it back down pit side. So unfortunately for Joe David, I do believe that is going to be all she wrote for his season here. Same with Caleb Holloman, who's still down pit road. Jaden Porter also down and out of this race as well, the 74 ride. So for a few of our drivers here, their season going to come to an early end here tonight. But for Nick Benny, he's hoping to finish on a high note as the 14 ride still hassling his back bumper. But we do see Joseph Smith navigating his way up and into third here. He's gotten himself around Xavier Rongobrugge as they now back into fourth. Here comes Matthew Wood into the fight here as well, as Matthew looks to keep on moving forward, trying to put himself into what could be a 16th win on the season and cementing himself as our champion here in the season, as he has already claimed that championship. He claimed it after what? Our 7th race of the season virtually. He's got over 200 points between himself and our second place driver in the point standing. So for the number 16 of Matthew Wood, he's feeling pretty dang good and obviously already locking in mathematically that championship with a few races left to go on the season, man. He is feeling absolutely a-okay here this evening. Knows that this is no sweat. He's already got it locked down. All he's got to do is just go out here, have some fun, enjoy this race, and get ready for the next season. As now here he goes, battling door to door. Here is Zay. So Zay and Wood door to door out there on the speedway, and it looks like Rongobrugge's going to give that spot up as Matthew Wood's going to take it away. But Zay says, you know what, maybe I'm not done yet, as he's going to look back down to the inside here of Matthew Wood, looking to try to jump back in front of the 16 run. We'll have to wait and see if he can get it to stick down low here in corner number 1 and 2. They're still door to door, but it does look like out of corner number 2, Matthew Wood will clear him, take that spot away. So Matthew now up and into fourth here as Joseph and Matthew both looking to try to navigate their way up towards the front here, especially as this stage continues to click on. Tires starting to fall off for a lot of these drivers. They're starting to run into those top areas here, and with the tires starting to slide around a little bit more, they got to be a little bit easier on the throttle. They got to kind of back it down a little bit just to keep these cars pointed the right direction. And for the 13 ride of Joseph Smith and the 16 of Matthew Wood, looks like they've done a good job coming up through the field here, being a little bit more patient, being a little bit easier on their tires, trying to take care of their race cars. And now here they are, slowly but surely navigating their way back up towards the front. But can Nick Betty just hold them back there at bay, because down in through corner number 1 and 2, he'll take them down the back straightaway, nice and easy into corner number 3. Down and out of corner number 4, they will complete lap number 130 here this evening, leaving only 26 more laps left to go here today. So 26 laps left in this season. Finally, we go to NASCAR overtime here with some late race caution flags. Only 26 laps left here in the wheel-to-wheel racing league for their inaugural season. Man, it has been an absolutely wild one. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of absolutely amazing races, some crazy races. We've seen some insane wrecks throughout the year. We've seen a lot of different pinch strategy. We saw a lot of different drivers, and we saw a lot of different winners, but no one better than that 16 of Matthew Wood claiming the championship here, and being our champion in the inaugural season. And now out there on the racetrack here for the season finale, trying to finish this one off, still on a high note, still trying to battle and duke it out here with these guys. And for Nick Betty, trying to finish off the season here himself on the top spot here. Grant Applegate right there though as well, and newcomer, first time out there on the racetrack here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, Joseph Smith right there in third. He's hoping to try to race his way up and into victory lane, show these guys that, hey, next season they may have a new driver and a new competitor to have to deal with that looks pretty dang good, looks pretty strong out there on the racetrack. Could give Mr. Wood a little bit of a run for his money when it comes to our week-to-week racing action. So we'll have to wait and see how that gets lined up, how it gets sorted out, what the iRatings will do here for these drivers and going into the next season. As out in front, Nick Benny continues to hold on to the top spot. Benny out in front. He's got that clean air, and that could be the big difference maker here for that 32 ride. Having the clean air, having, clean racetrack in front of them could be the difference maker, just making this car handle a little bit better, handle it a little bit nicer, and he keeps dumping dirty air onto the nose of the 14 and the 13 run. Maybe that's starting to tighten their cars up a little bit more, so they may be, trying to, pushed a little too hard. In doing so, could be burning up their equipment, as you do see the 9 ride of Benjamin Romano. Romano did have to come down pit side, so he's got fresh tires, and this will show you how good the fresh tires are compared to the old tires out there on the racetrack, as the 9 ride just drove absolutely right on and around that 16 of Matthew Wood, and we'll have to wait and see how much he can push these tires here and try to make some moves around these guys. As here he goes to the high side. He doesn't want to pass him down low because he doesn't want to run him over. But man, look at the speed that this guy carries out there with those fresh tires. Now around the 13 ride. Now he's looking to go after the 14 machine here as well. Applegate here. And it seems like just trying to pick and choose his way through here. Doesn't want to run any of these guys over, but right now he is in that free pass position. Actually, I don't think he is. Aiden Luke is still the first car 1 lap down. He's in that free pass spot. So for Benjamin Romano, he does not want to see a caution flag right now, knowing that he would not get back onto the lead lap here if the yellow flag did fly. As he's currently actually 2 laps down, trying to put himself back to 1 lap down if he can get around Nick Biddy. And Biddy, he may just like having this car right there behind him, as yo, my boy Rodney Stewart, what in the world? Hot Rod coming in, setting it off here in this one. Says, here's a high note. He says, here's a high note for certain. My boy Rodney Stewart coming in, setting it off here in this one. Says, what a great season. Says, here's a high note right here with a $5 USD dono over there. The super chat over on YouTube, man. Absolutely insane. I appreciate that, brother, coming in with a brand new super chat, the $5 dono. Shout out to my boy Rodney in the chat right now, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes in generously donating his hard-earned money here this evening and showing the love here on the broadcast. Nick Biddy continues to lead the way here. The laps are clicking down in a quick hurry. Is fuel going to become an issue? Will these drivers have to make a late race pit stop? I kind of feel like they don't have to. If they did, I feel there would have been more drivers coming down pit road here over the last couple handfuls of laps. I feel like we would have saw more and more drivers head down pit road and off of the racetrack here, but it's been staying clean and green, and we've been seeing not a whole lot of guys come down pit side here. Benjamin Romano, he was that one driver that really had to make that green flag pit stop because he did not pit there around lap 100 when we saw those couple caution flags. He stayed out. He had yet to come down pit road for quite a little while. But when you look at the numbers here, he had last come down pit road on lap number 82. He made it to lap 129. So that is virtually just under a 50-lap run for Benjamin Romano. And if that's as far as he could go, is 50 laps, I think that really puts into perspective for a lot of these drivers how tight their fuel is going to be here this evening. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it to the end. A lot of these guys are going to have to run 50-plus laps, 52, 56. For a lot of these drivers, so fuel could definitely play a major factor in tonight's feature event as Nick Biddy continues to lead the way. Brandon Applegate there in second. Joseph Smith right there in third. Matthew Wood in position number 4 and looking for more as Xavier rolls back into that 5th position. Jason Bogart there in 6th with Evan Stewart back in 7th. Wyatt Mickelson in position number 8 as Keegan Huey there in 9th. Ryan Haller rounding out our top 10 as Aiden Lucas battling here. He's the first car 1 lap down back in the 11th position. Benjamin Romano, second car 1 lap down back there in 12th as Joe David and Caleb Holloman unfortunately parked down pit side back there in 13th and 14th with Jaden Porter and Brandon Eddington off of the racetrack. As right now it is Nick Biddy who continues to lead the way down across the line. He'll click off another lap and we see 13 more to go here in this one as Jesse Biddy says, please don't run out of gas. Please don't run out of gas. Please don't run out of gas. Oh man, it's going to be nervous times here for all the Biddy fans in the stands because it's going to be really close here. I think they can make it. I just can't see it. I don't know. Maybe the 9 ride of Benjamin Romano knew that if he did have to make that green flag pit stop, that he'd come down earlier where he could still use those fresh tires to his advantage. And unfortunately, maybe he still had 10 laps or better of fuel left in that car. If he did, maybe these guys can make a 60-lap run work without an issue. We'll have to wait and see because it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Unless these guys plan on just hitting pit road, getting a quick splash of gas. But no matter what, there's going to be a few guys that are going to try to stretch it, try to make it to the end. And Nick Biddy out of our top 5 right now. He's the odd man out of this group. He was last down pit road on lap 100. The other 4 back behind him were down pit road on lap 104. So right at the get-go, they have about 4 laps better of fuel. Whether or not those were under yellow flag or green flag conditions, he's still giving up quite a bit of fuel to those drivers. As Joseph Smith rolls there in second, Matthew Wood now in position number 3. As Applegate falls back into position number 4 on the speedway. So Applegate falls back. It's now Joseph Smith who's looking to run after and trying to hunt down Nick Biddy here for this one. As Biddy out in front. Only 10 laps left to go here in this race. There'll be 9 more this next time by the start-finish line. And he's starting to see this Chesapeake 13 ride get closer and closer to his back bumper. Is 9 laps left to duke it out. Can Nick Biddy hold on to it and keep himself at the point and win this race? Or does the newcomer, Joseph Smith, park himself up and into victory lane? Matthew Wood right there in that 3rd position. I'm sure he'd love to try to jump up here and join this battle for the win, as well as he's looking for his 16th win on his miraculous season. Applegate falls back to 4th. Zay there in 5th. Bogart, Evans, Stewart, Wyatt, Mickelson are top 8 out there on the racetrack, but it's all Nick Biddy, and it's coming down to the nitty-gritty. Here in this one is Biddy down in through corner 1 and 2, back down the back straightaway here at Phoenix Raceway. Got a couple car lengths between himself and Joseph Smith as he leads us back down into corner number 3. See Smith trying to run some different lines, trying to find a little bit of extra gear and speed out there on the racetrack as Biddy gets another great exit right there. Keeps that gap, is down across the line. 7 laps left to go here in this one. 7 laps left here for Nick Biddy. Can he hold off Joseph Smith, or can Smith jump up and steal this win away from Nick Biddy in the closing laps here of our season finale? It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be an interesting one. Can Biddy get it done and park this Sisk Speed Shop? Nick Biddy Designs ride into victory lane here in our season finale. Smith still hunting him down. 6 laps left to go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. These 2 drivers just duking it out here in this one. Big contact there for the 13 ride of Joseph Smith on corner exit there. You can see that the 13 is really pushing the subject, trying to find as much speed as possible out of his ride, and makes that mistake. Gets into the wall right there. Luckily enough, doesn't look like any major damage. He'll keep on battling. He'll keep on duking it out here. Look to see if he can find another big run. Some good speed down and out of corner number 1 and 2 here at Phoenix Raceway. It's only 5 laps left to go. 4 laps left this next time by the start-finish line. So 4 laps left to try to keep this number 13 back there at bay for the 32 of Nick Biddy. Is Biddy down across the line. Hit his 4 laps left here, and right there lurking in the weeds is that 16 of Matthew Wood. Matthew sticking right there with him. He sends it in deep into corner number 1. Looked like he almost forgot to use the brake pedal right there. Got up into the outside fence, likely enough able to keep it alive, keep it rolling here. But for Nick Biddy, still holding about that 2-3 car length lead here between himself and Joseph Smith, and he's got to be feeling A-okay right now, knowing that he's not right on his back bumper, but you got to be picture perfect. You cannot make a mistake. You cannot slip up. You cannot give an opening for that 13 ride of Joseph Smith to get to your back bumper late in the race, or for you to open up the door and allow him to get to your inside or your outside and battle door to door for this race lead. So for Nick Biddy, you just got to keep hitting your marks. Hit them perfectly. Don't make any mistakes, and drive this 32 ride home and into victory lane here at Phoenix. Is down across the line. It is 2 laps left to go here in this one. 2 laps left to duke it out for Nick Biddy. Is Biddy trying to hold off Joseph Smith and Matthew Wood. Applegate back there in 4th with Xavier Runkelbrugge, our top 5 out there on the speedway. Is Bogart chasing him down. Bogart looking to try to take his 5th place away, but here we go. Down and out of corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. Back down across the line. The white flag will be displayed one more time around here for Nick Biddy. Is Biddy looking to try to win our season finale here at Phoenix Raceway with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. It's Nick Biddy who will lead us down in through corner 1 and 2 the final time. Down the back straightaway as Grant Applegate out of nowhere. Oh, he's pulling the Ross Chastain, pinning it against the outside fence. Will it be enough? He won't get there as Nick Biddy will find victory here this evening. Nick Biddy picks up the dub and finds himself away into victory lane here in our final race of the season, man. What a run and what a drive there for Nick Biddy. Joe Smith able to come home in position number 2, and Applegate here. We may have to go back for that final lap and see Applegate's Ross Chastain moment out there on the speedway. Is he just going to pull a Ross here this evening and pin that car up against the outside fence? Man, this is a bit of a crazy run for him, man. This is a crazy move. I didn't think I would see anyone do this here at Phoenix, but apparently, hey, if it works at Phoenix, maybe we'll see this in a couple weeks' time as he just pins it against the fence. And look at this thing just eat, man. Oh, man, look at that. Able to pick off the 16 of Matthew Wood, then back down into 3 and 4. He's just going to do it again, and it almost works out. He almost steals position number 2 away from the 13 right in to make a contact right there. But nonetheless, man, what a run, what a finish, what a drive here in this one. But it's all Nick Biddy as Biddy picks up the dub. He gets to celebrate here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for the 32 as Nick Biddy gets to celebrate a big win here this evening. He'll get ready to pull that ride up and into victory lane here in this one as not sure what's going on here. These guys doing a little get together here, a little hangout down here, and now we're going to see Biddy do a little bit of a burnout. He'll get ready to celebrate here in this one as Josh says S3NBD, Mr. Nick Biddy Design says let's go, as Jamal says let's go Mojo. Jesse Biddy says Jesse, Cam, CJB and Corabella are so pumped and proud of Daddy. CJB says, let's go, big dog. Let's go, big dog. Let's go. Let's get it. Yes, Joe Zacking. Heck of a run there for Joseph, man. As Sonia says, great race, great season there, says Mr. Holler. As we see Holler in the chat says top 10 to finish the season off, and top 10 for Wyatt as well. Yeah, great race there for the boys. Mr. Holler says, thanks, PeaceMaker, for the season. Absolutely, brother. You know it. You always know it is. Jordan Hand says Grant is a badass for that laugh out loud. It was definitely one hell of a move. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how it stuck so easily and just bounced off of it so nicely, but nonetheless, that was a good one right there. Fapplegate or Applegate there. I don't know what the F is for. F Applegate. Hashtag F Applegate. And it says, good job, guys. Good job. Good racing. Great battles out there, man. That was a lot of fun. Holler says, made my tires last 55 laps when I blew a tire at the end of stage number 1. Jeepers. Creepers, brother. Jeepers. You don't want to be doing that. All right, let's see if we can get these guys up here into the booth. That's our race winner, Nick Biddy, sitting down pit side. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth for his post-race interview. Hey, Nick, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, how are you?
Not too bad, Nick, man. What a run, what a drive, what a performance for you as you're able to park that 32 up here into victory lane for our season finale, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind.
Yeah, that was fun. That was that was a heck of a lot of discipline. There were some fast guys behind me, man, and you know what? I was just tried to minimize mistakes and hit the same line every time, and it's tough to do, especially when I'm not as skilled as some of these other guys are. So it was fun. It was fun to have a good long run on that deal.
Yeah, it was great to see a good green flag run here to finish this one off, allow you guys just to really duke it out. It was down to you guys. There was no caution flags to decide it, no late race pit stops to mix things up or anything else. It was just down to pure talent here this evening. And you say that some of those guys back there behind you are a little bit better, but man, they could not find a way to get around you. So I think here tonight, you're the one that showed them up and showed them how to get it done here in this one.
I don't know about that. I want to congratulate Wood. I was kind of hoping he was going to get up there to me, and I was going to let him they kind of let him go a little bit. Thought it'd been nice for him to win the race too. But congratulations to him, and heck of a race.
Yeah, heck of a race, heck of a season finale, man. As you had a big fan club watching, cheering you on here tonight. They were pumped. They were getting nervous there. I wasn't sure if fuel was going to become an issue or not for you. I know you had 4 laps less than these guys behind you, so I was thinking, man, if it comes down to it, that could get very, very interesting here to see how this season ends. And if it ended there with a bad note, running out of fuel with a couple laps left to go, man, that would have been a heartbreaker for you.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. My spotter came by with, I don't know, two or three laps left, and he said, "Start spotting that entrance. We're going to be pitting in 5." And I'm like, "No, bud. No, we're not."
Yeah, absolutely no way. So fuel was pretty tight. Luckily enough, this was 167 laps or 160 laps. It was 156, and you're the first car down across the line to win the season finale here this evening. Nick, who'd you like to thank for not only a great run here tonight, but such a great run all season long?
Yeah, man, what a season, right? I mean, appreciate all the admin crew putting this thing together, and I really hope this thing keeps going. There's some really good racers in here, and this league is ran very well. So hats off to those guys. Also, congratulations, Matthew Wood, man. That guy, he's been the class of the field the whole season, and good. I'm happy for him. It well deserved, and a popular champion. So, and then also, I guess my fan club, right? I guess we had Jesse, Cora, Cameron, and Coley, I guess, is what we had tonight. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank y'all for supporting us this season, and glad we came out and did this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to see you back out there to finish off the season. Obviously finishes on a high note for you. Helps build some of that confidence up, maybe some momentum up. I know it's going to be a few months away before the next season gets underway, but to know that you came in here, you were able to win the season finale, that's going to give you a bit of a boost here going through the winter series for other series, and then coming back in here to start season 2 of the wheel-to-wheel racing league.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to a little bit of a break. I was telling my wife earlier in the week, I've got this race and then one more on Wednesday, and I want to take a break. I'm kind of looking forward to the little mini dirt series that they were talking about. Maybe that'll be fun. Yeah, definitely looking for a couple of weeks, maybe a month worth of a break.
There you go. Hey, man, a break is always needed for everybody. Even the pros, they take a little bit of time off, and they take some time to themselves and spend with family and everything else, so we don't blame you on that one. And, Nick, we can't wait to see you guys back in action, man. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack, but enjoy a bit of a break, man. Enjoy a great send-off here for the season, and we can't wait to see you back up here in the broadcast booth next year.
Hey, I just realized I bookended this season. I won the first one and the last one.
Perfect. Beauty. Well, Nick, enjoy the rest of your night, brother, and don't party too hard down there in Victory Lane.
That sounds good. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner and our season finale at number 32. And Nick Biddy picks up the dub here today, man. What a run, what a drive, what a performance there for Mr. Biddy here this evening. Is Nick able to pull off the dub, able to pull off the season finale here, man? Hell of a performance, hell of a drive there for him, as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher here, the 31 ride, Joseph Smith. Joe comes home in position number 2. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Joseph, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yep.
Joseph, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this evening with your first race here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. You're able to qualify in that pole position. You're able to battle here at the front of the field all night long, and it came down to this final run. Obviously, some different pit stop strategies there. Some drivers come down the caution flag before you do, and it kind of set you back there a little bit. You had to kind of restart back into that 7th, 8th position. you're slowly able to work your way through there. You got to battle, find your way around Applegate. You got to find your way back around Matthew Wood and that fine ride of Xavier Broggy. But as you do, you finally give yourself enough time in the position to go after Nick Biddy. And in those closing laps, you were trying everything to hunt him down. You just couldn't quite get there and steal this win away from the 32 here this evening, man. But take us back through it, man, as it was a hell of a run and a great drive for that 13 right here today.
Yeah, I felt fast all race. I honestly felt like I was the fastest car, and in that first stage, I was also really good on the long run. So I was hoping that on the last stage, I would get a long run. But then cautions came out, so I saw everyone go in, and I looked at the tank. So when everyone went in, we wouldn't make it. So I decided to stay out and just pray, and it worked. So yeah, like you said, it sent me back, and I got through. But unfortunately, I had to push so hard getting through everyone. My tires were kind of killed, and then I got air blocked. So yeah, but I tried really hard. Yeah, congrats to Nick. I'm pretty satisfied with today.
Yeah, pretty successful race, showing a lot of speed, laying down some great laps, some clean battles out there on the speedway, and some good fun there on the track as well, with some very good talent out there, man. It seemed like it was definitely not just an easy one for you. Obviously, you had Applegate in there, Matthew Wood, you throw Zay into the mix of it, and Biddy there at the end. Definitely gave you a run for your money here this evening, and obviously just coming up a little bit shy of picking up the checkered flag.
Oh yeah, the talent here is pretty impressive. Nick Biddy was fast. Grant was just destroying us in the first stage. You know, Matthew, I've been watching Wheel to Wheel. Matthew is just destroying everyone, and you know, my teammate Xavier, he obviously I know him, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a lot of slouches out there at the front of the field. And here tonight, you had to really work for this one. But you come home with a very solid second place run here in this one. Joseph, who would you like to thank for such a great drive out there on the racetrack?
I'd like to thank Xavier, my teammate. We were communicating with each other on the tires and stuff. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my uncle. They watch every race I do. I'd like to thank just everyone on my team on CHR. Yeah.
Beauty, well, heck of a run, heck of a drive here in this one, Joseph. Unfortunately, that was our season finale, so the guys are going to have a little bit of a break here, but hopefully come season 2, we'll get you back out there and hopefully giving these guys a bit of a run for their money and maybe giving Matthew a run for that championship here next season.
Oh, yeah, you'll see me at Daytona.
Beauty, we look forward to it. Joseph, enjoy the rest of your night, and congratulations again on the second place finish.
You too, thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place driver, Joseph Smith, as Joseph comes home in position number 2. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher here, the 57 of Grant Applegate. Let's pull Applegate up here. Actually, looks like Applegate's going to dip, so I think Applegate is going to take his punishment there for the wall riding, I'm assuming, and he's going to hop out. So it is going to be Matthew Wood who will be qualified as our third place finisher here. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here into the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Hello.
Matthew, man, another great run, another great drive for you here tonight, man. Take us back through it as, you know, you decided to go from starting in third to starting at the back of the pack, and then you just slowly but surely progressed your way up here. You battled for a bit with Joseph Smith and Applegate, Biddy there, and Xavier for a little while, but it just seemed like you just couldn't quite get to the front of the field here in this one. But, man, it was a great battle there at the end, and obviously the insane moves there by Applegate to get around you there. I'm sure that he decided that he would give you that third place, knowing that it was a little bit of a crazy move, but definitely one that most people wouldn't do out there on the racetrack.
To say it was a good race, I mean, I was driving horrendously, just from pure pace standards. Yeah, they wanted me to start out back. I was like, okay, sure, I'll agree to it. And then I was starting to make my way up through the field and slammed the wall. Actually, I didn't even slam it. I hit it less than Aiden did in front of me, and somehow my wheel was at 90 degrees. So I limped it to stage 1, then started making my way up through the field, and yeah, I guess Ben got loose in front of me. Then when he got loose, he spun, took out Xavier. I had checked up for the wreck, and then Aiden didn't see it and plowed straight into me and sent me right back to the back of the pack. And then from there, I mean, I don't know what I was doing wrong, other than dirty air at a short track. But welcome to the next gen, right? But yeah, I mean, Biddy drove great. I think. I mean, he just did a good job of maintaining the lead. If I wouldn't have been hit there by Aiden, I think I would have had a shot, but I could never figure it out like other tracks. But same thing happened to me at Las Vegas in another league last Wednesday. I was doing sort of good, and then I burnt up the right front. Then iRacing said I wasn't in my pit stall, and I was, so that was a glitch. Then I just completely, I've been burning up the right front really bad. But either way, glad this wasn't an actual playoff format race, because I would be tweaking right now. I'm not even, because Biddy probably would have made the championship and he would have won the championship, and I would be tweaking. But 16 races or 15 races and not winning a championship. I know how Denny Hamlin feels, but no, it's been an incredible season. We got some things to work out for next season, but it's been an honor to have you with us for this season. It's been an honor to be here. I've been blessed to do what I do here and have everybody support me. But next season will roll around, and I may have the speed, I may not. This car has I have some weeks where I go on stretches of really, really good runs, and then stretches in this car where I am garbage. So we'll see. We might be getting an Xfinity program up, wink wink. So I don't know about that one yet, but thank you to Outlier, by the way, for sticking with me, and God bless you all.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, as long as this was a one race championship, man, you're still in good standings. Obviously, already had that championship locked down, so really no stress, no sweat. I mean, for a little while, I thought there maybe you were just trying to play some big strategy calls, or maybe you were just trying to, give these other guys a little bit of a chance to win one of these races here after winning half the season, virtually parking your car up into victory lane.
Yeah, no, I was just really struggling for some reason, but no, I mean, it's good to see Mitty up there in victory lane. And Grant, me and Grant were in the same chat, and Grant was like, "Hey, I'm going to do it, by the way." And I was like, "Okay, you go and do it. I don't want to do it." And then all I see is him going like 30-mile-an-hour faster to my right. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the bottom of the racetrack and not get wrecked. You can go, my child, go.
Yeah.
And then he ended up barely beating me out, but he's going to give it back, I believe. So it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. But, man, heck of a run, heck of a season for you, Matthew. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank here tonight, man, for just an incredible inaugural season here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing Club?
Of course, with that comes the admins. I'm an admin myself, but Jaden, Aiden, Evan, all those guys. By the way, Grant just texted me he was disqualified from the race for wall riding. So, yeah, I mean, it's the final race. We're not racing for anything, really. Yeah. So, but, thank the Lord for what he's done for me. And we'll go on, and hopefully next season, whatever that brings, it'll be a fun one just like this one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action. Can't wait to see you guys back out there on the speedway, duking it out here on Sunday nights and battling potentially for another championship for yourself, Matthew. Enjoy the little bit of a break, the little bit of off time here on Sunday nights, and we'll hopefully get you right back up here in the booth very soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher here this evening and our champion here on the season, Mr. Matthew Wood, as Matthew comes home with the championship, comes home with the third place finish after Applegate getting disqualified there after wall riding there. We kind of saw that one coming. We kind of figured that was probably going to be the case for Applegate there. I mean, it was a cool move. It was definitely a dope move, man, and I'm all for it. That looked like a lot of fun, and if it would have worked, man, like if Matthew would have did that, man, he may have been able to win the race. He was close enough that he may have been able to gain enough ground up past not only the 13 ride, but maybe even steal the race win away from Nick Biddy there towards the line, which would have been an absolutely crazy way to finish off the season. Seeing that right there, that would have been absolutely wow. But nonetheless, chat, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in again here this evening, man. Absolutely amazing season, absolutely amazing racing action here week after week after week. We can't give enough credit to the admin crew, the drivers, everyone that makes this possible, man, as you guys made this season a whole lot of fun. We can't wait to see season 2 here of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Hopefully we'll be back up in the booth and bringing you guys all the amazing action here. Unfortunately, though, that is going to do it for us here this evening. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. We can't thank you guys enough for showing the love here throughout the night. We will catch you guys back in here. We're actually off tomorrow, so we'll be probably just taking a nice, easy, chill day. Probably not doing a whole lot of anything. And then Tuesday, we'll be back up here in the booth. Tuesday, we'll be back up here. We'll be broadcast some more amazing NASCAR truck racing, and hopefully we'll see you guys back in there for that one. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all back here on Tuesday night. Peace out for now, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out for now, chat.
Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curve, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curve, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.